welcome back to our Mama Birds podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about faith, fitness, motherhood, unfiltered, just anything that we feel like talking about. So we're happy you're here, and let's just kick it off. Jordan, what are we talking about today?
Today we're going to be talking about some fitness, some nutrition, and kind of just like our journey through CrossFit that we got started. And
Yes.
I know we've gotten a few questions about like CrossFit and stuff, so we're going to dive into that and kind of just talk about our own journeys.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about kind of how we got to where, actually, let's do this. Let's talk about how we got into CrossFit. That is our choice of fitness. Obviously, there's so many other ways, but that's kind of what we all do. It's a shared interest of ours and our family. So we'll talk about how we got into that, and then also talk about your background as far as athleticism goes. I feel like it's worth noting because it's important. So who wants to go first? Let's go oldest to youngest.
All
right, Mom.
All right.
You're up.
I have a good story. I'm telling you. I played sports when I was in school, but outside of school, I never did anything else. I joined a gym and never went. It was never important to me. Backwards about 10 years or so, I was working at a independent living facility where I was an activity assistant director, and we were doing chair exercises. You know,
You led the chair
I
exercises.
led the chair exercises, so we did these little routines to Taylor Swift and, Shake It Off, and we were doing all that. And all these little signs, for everything, and just getting people to move while they're sitting in their chairs. And it occurred to me when I was doing that one time that, wow, that's a lot of work. I'm huffing and puffing. And then I thought, well, I'm too young to be
All the
huffing and
older
puffing.
people were more fit than you.
During chair exercise.
Yeah, it was chair exercise, you guys. And then I was, where I worked, everyone had walkers, and I would come home and make jokes about how I'm going to get this walker someday and I'm going to bling it out, and the kids you guys were all laughing at me.
We're all like, oh great, this is our future.
Stop talking like an old person.
Yes.
And then I was taking groceries in to the house one day and literally so out of breath. And I thought, this is, sometimes you think things, but you don't do anything about it because you just think, it's hot outside or whatever it is. But then I was like, why am I so out of breath just bringing groceries into the house? So anyway, these are things that just took a little space in my mind, and I never did anything about it. But then when my son came home from school, and he
got married.
Yeah. So he got married.
Because I was like, this was after he got married. So this was like...
Yeah, so he came...
Galen has always been in fitness.
He's always been in fitness, but he would always
Yeah.
make comments about it, and you guys were making fun of me. And he and his wife, Ashton, yes, so they went out looking for a place to start their fitness journey, and they found a CrossFit gym after interviewing. Of course, you don't just go to the first one, you have to interview. So they interviewed some places, and he came home and he said, Mom, I want you to go. And
we're all worried about you.
yeah, I want you to go. I need to do this for you, so I'm going to pay for you to go. I want you to go. And I would laugh, and I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to commit. It's a lot of work. I didn't feel like I fit in. It was just such a weird thing. CrossFit, I was older, but he's very persistent. So, if you know my son, he's extremely persistent.
Yeah, and the thing with our family is it's like kind of if you do something like this, it's kind of you get everyone to do it with you.
Yeah.
There's...
Why are you laughing? I have so much taste stuck to my lips.
I'm like talking and Jordan's looking at me like she's gonna burst into laughter, but she just has spicy lips. Real quick though, intermission, because we all, during our podcast, we usually have because we do it on Sundays afternoons, so we have a cocktail while we record. Jordan has a margarita that she made, and Ashton, I think, has the same one, right?
Yes.
And what are you
delicious.
drinking, Mom?
And it took you too long to set up the podcast.
Oh yeah, it took me a while to set everything up, so they had half of it already. Okay, anyways, back to, as we're talking about nutrition and fitness.
And fitness, yes.
I'm sorry. Balance.
Yeah, so anyway, everything we do as a family. So this was just the groundwork that he was laying, and he finally got me to go. I show up at this gym box and literally picked up a barbell for the first time. Couldn't even pick up this barbell. It was 35 pounds. So they gave me the beginner's barbell, which was 15.
No, that's not a beginner's bar. That's a technique.
It's a technique bar. So
Training bar.
yeah, it was a training bar. So I had this little bar, and everything I did was very, very scaled. There were men there that were lifting heavy weight, and I was doing the same thing as them with just very little weight. And the coach was really like very attentive to what I was doing, and always, you know, making sure that I was doing things properly. And it was just so awkward, and the way they talk, there's all this.
Did they make you feel awkward, or you just
No,
felt awkward?
no, I felt awkward.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna lie. If anyone's looking to start, I mean,
That's
you
a big
will
thing
feel
because
awkward.
you need to know it's,
But
maybe they aren't making you feel awkward. You
No,
feel awkward.
no.
100%.
It's just like a personal.
yeah,
Like
like
maybe like
people
a
aren't like
like
looking at you.
insecurity. Like
Yeah.
you're starting
Oh,
something
sure.
new, so you're
Yes.
like,
But what I have to say is every single person in that gym was so happy to see me there. They
Yeah.
were really excited. They were like, okay, Paula, let me get you that weight for you, or let me do this. And they were, and how did you like that workout? And it was just so cool. But I'll tell you what, it was like humbling, very, very humbling, because I didn't realize how weak I was, really, when you get there. But cut to, my trial turned into 6 years later. So I've been doing CrossFit for 6 years now. Made all kinds of great achievements in my
Oh, yeah,
fitness
you have.
goals. Oh yeah, everything. So I'm just addicted. I love it so much. I went from 3 times a week to just recently I got off of 75 hard, so I was doing 7 days a week plus an extra workout. It was crazy, but I love it so much, and it has changed my life. It
That's
has
so good.
absolutely changed my life. It
It's
has
turned
made me-
into part of your lifestyle.
It is,
Yeah.
and I literally, the hardest part I can tell you guys is not the gym. It's getting up and making the commitment to get to the gym. That's the hardest workout.
That is. That's true with
It's
everything.
absolutely
that
the hardest.
betters you.
So
It's hard.
when you get involved though with CrossFit, and there are other establishments out there that are probably like this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think a big box gym would be like this, but again, I've never been to one. But you know, I'll tell you, it's the community. So getting involved in a gym that has community will keep you accountable. They're always wanting you to do well. They're cheering you on. They're making sure you're
Well,
there.
it's-
They're excited
yeah.
when you're there. It's always goodbye, Paula.
Yeah.
Hi, Paula.
Well, because when you go to like a CrossFit gym, for instance, you're with a whole bunch of like-minded people.
Mhm.
Regardless of what walk of life you're from or what you're into outside of the gym, you're all there for the same reason, and so you have a shared interest, and that bonds you together, especially when you do really hard things together,
Yeah.
because CrossFit workouts are very challenging, but it kind of brings you together, and it's really cool because you do form friendships with people that maybe you wouldn't have met otherwise too, which has been like a big, I think, side blessing of CrossFit for us, because we've just grown our friends, and I consider them
Yeah.
family outside of
Now,
you know,
I'm
our
probably
family.
one of the oldest people there. Now, I'm not the oldest, but I am probably one of the oldest people there, and I don't feel that way.
No.
Yeah.
I absolutely
We have
don't
such a
feel that
range
way.
of
There's
people.
such a range. My mom and dad work out there.
Yeah.
There's such a range, and nobody there cares. They're all
Mm-hmm.
just as excited for my mom and dad as they are for me, as we are for them, and it's just fun.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
it's really
It's so
fun.
fun.
Yeah, it's a
a
great.
lot of times you like also are going to the same class every day. Like there's a lot of us like are on a schedule. So if we're taking part in the 8 o'clock or the 9 o'clock or the 6:30 class, whatever it is, that's the class you're going to every day. So you're seeing the same individuals every single day, which is nice just because like it helps build those relationships with the people that you're working out with. And I think people that go to CrossFit, like you said, it's kind of, we have a shared interest, so naturally there's like a bond there, but everyone is like excited to see each other like when
Yeah.
we get to the gym, because we're kind of sharing in that hard workout,
Yeah.
and we know like how hard it is, but we're excited that we're all doing it together.
That's so true. Ashton, are you older than Jordan?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay, you go then into your. I was
Yeah,
staring
it's
at
so
both of
funny.
you guys.
It
I'm like,
is-
wait, which one is older?
Well, it is funny because I am older than Jordan, but she graduated a year ahead of me.
Are you guys just a year apart?
She. We're like 3
October.
months apart.
That's because
But,
I homeschooled her.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm like one of the first birthdays in my
Oh,
grade, so
okay.
I'm like very old for my grade, but
Okay.
she's like really
You're
young
really
for
young.
her
I'm really young for mine.
when
Yeah.
she graduated, yeah.
Okay.
But I'm a little
So we
older.
should have been in the same grade.
Got you. Okay. Well, that's why I was like, she's not like years and years older than you.
No.
She just
3
October,
months.
Yeah. Okay.
like almost exactly 3 months to
Yeah.
the day.
And you're the third and I'm the first, right?
I love that I can have known you guys for so long. I've never put that together.
Yeah.
Me and numbers and dates.
Yeah.
Okay, you know,
No
Ashton.
Rain Man, but they're beautiful.
You know what? Beauty over math brains. I'll take it. That's fine. Okay,
Uh,
Ashton, tell us about your. What
Yeah.
do you call your? You've always
My
been fit.
journey.
Just tell
Your
us.
athletic journey.
Mad fit, bro.
No.
This girl, I'll tell
um,
you what, I can't stop looking at her all the time. And the girls give me a hard time, but she is
No, let
so-
me say, because we can't stop looking at her either. But we just give her crap because she goes, Ashton is just so strong. And then we go, what about us, Mom? What about us? We obviously agree.
Which
We're just
also
giving her
don't
crap.
even like they're so strong and so
we
fit.
are too.
Ashton's really strong.
I also Jordan was at a walking speed the other day when I was running with them. So
I'll run while you lift. It's okay.
Jordan's really fast.
okay. So I grew up like playing sports, and then when I was in junior high, I committed to focusing on just swimming. So I was on a club team that swam year round. So I had practice like 6 days a week, sometimes twice a day. But was very like involved in swimming, and that translated over to like in college I was trying to like stay fit. Obviously, like I from swimming like in high school had like a fitness background, was pretty in shape aerobically at least, and then in college I still tried to like maintain working out even though I wasn't swimming anymore, but definitely it wasn't like the same environment. It was different because I was relying on myself for workouts versus like when you go to a swim practice, you have a coach that has already programmed a workout for you, and so you're just kind of going along with whatever they have pre-planned. So there was some difficulty in that because when you transition from like, well, everything is there for me, I literally just have to show up and do the work, versus like you get to college and suddenly you're responsible for figuring out everything yourself. That was challenging. And then obviously Galen and I got married. It wasn't that many years after I was out of college, but we got married and we both kind of grew up, I guess, technically in like backgrounds of playing sports. He played baseball, I swam. We wanted to be fit, but just didn't really know like how we wanted to go about that. So we originally joined LA Fitness, which I think like you
Yeah, he
joined
paid
with
for
us.
my membership too.
Yeah, so he paid with he joined with Daryn, and we were going, but I know there are a ton of people who are very successful in those type of environments. They're really good at programming for themselves. I get to a gym like that and I don't even know what to do.
Yeah.
I just am like, okay, I'm gonna go do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm gonna go swim in the pool for a little bit. But I really wasn't getting what I wanted out of that, I guess, necessarily in terms of like fitness. And so Galen had a friend that he was friends with for a long time who I think through social media he saw that he was doing CrossFit and he was part of a gym and he was having a lot of fun doing it. So Galen was like, we should go and see if we can find a CrossFit gym that we can join and at least try it out on a trial basis. So we initially, this was when we lived in our first house, there was one that was really like just directly behind our home. We went there and he wasn't very impressed with like the whole situation. So then we moved to trying out the gym that we're now part of, that we've been part of for 6 years, and we really liked the environment, the coaches, just everything there. And so we've been doing that for 6 years. I'll say that something that I enjoy about CrossFit is when I started, a month in, I found out I was pregnant, obviously with Cooper, but Galen was like, you should just keep going and I'm sure they'll be able to scale you. And they were. So I've gone through 2 pregnancies, 2 postpartums, and I've only gained fitness. Like at this point in my life, 2 kids later, I'm definitely the fittest that I've ever been. I'm doing things that I never imagined I would be able to do. So it is possible in the years that you're having kids to experience your highest levels of fitness, which I think it's just common for people to assume otherwise, that like once you start, I mean, we all know, let's be honest, there's always the people that are say, just wait till you have kids, everything's going to change, or just wait till you get pregnant. But
Yeah, maybe it will change for the better.
yeah, I mean, everyone has said that, or people, like, I personally just had people say, like, oh, you're so blessed because, like, you know, like, how you are now that you've had a couple of kids, and I am blessed, but I also worked really hard, and I'm proud of myself for how hard I've worked having kids, and I attribute it to, like, our gym and the community that we have that's always encouraging, and just really great coaching and programming. So I really enjoyed
Yes.
our CrossFit
Well
community.
said. Well said. All right, Daryn, let's hear it.
All right.
Let's hear it from you, babe girl. Well, I like never really did anything fitness-wise at all.
No, you were in.
Well, wait, let me get there.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay,
sorry.
we're all like,
Oh, wait a second. Let me get there. Okay, but like growing up, it was very much like I tried a lot of things, and then like as soon as I like started getting like good at them, like I did gymnastics, and then like as soon as it was time to like level up, I'd get like, I think it was you and me,
Yeah,
but we just get, there was like anxiety that started, and then we just like cut it off.
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, you leveled up to balance beam, and I was like, oh no.
Yes.
Oh,
so
no.
all of my anxiety
No,
stems from
I don't
here.
want her getting hurt. This is not something I want her to do. I'm not an extreme sports mom,
Yeah,
so
but,
we
like,
can do
Yeah,
skateboards
so like,
and
yeah, I know. But every time I like did
scooters.
something, I kind of like get to that point where it was like I was getting good, and then I like stopped it. Like whether it was mom's anxiety or my anxiety, it just stopped. And then like in high school, I remember like you had to take fitness center your first year, right? And like I just will never forget.
That's the only year of high school you have to actually take.
Yes, you have to. And it was like, I always enjoyed it. And then like we did the mile or whatever during fitness center, and I remember my coach being like, you need to do cross country. Like you have to do cross country. But like I was so intimidated that I like shut that down right away. I was like, no, I can't. Like for whatever reasons I gave. But then like come to find out, like it's like kind of upsetting looking back at it that I'm like, I should have done
Like he
cross
saw
country.
greatness in
Like,
you.
yeah.
Oh
like,
yes, if you know Jordan,
Yeah,
she
like,
should have done cross country.
If you see people like, if there's people that are like speaking like goodness over you, like listen to that. Don't be intimidated by that, because I totally let it like intimidate me and like come up with all the reasons why I could not do that. But like looking back at my life now, I'm like, that would have been such a cool thing to be able to like
and you would have done
do,
so good in that.
develop, and like that would have been a cool thing for my life. But it's fine.
No regrets.
Yeah,
Just
no
move on.
regrets. But really, I really didn't ever like work out. I was the type of like, I remember going to Michigan with Nan one year, and she like went to the gym every year, and every day, and I'd go in there and I'd like be on the treadmill or the elliptical, and she's like, you were on the elliptical for 45 minutes straight, and I'm like, what else was I supposed to do? Like if I step into a gym, I'm not going to touch weights. I'm not going to do anything. I'm
Well,
just
it's
going to run.
intimidating if
I'm
you're
gonna
in a
do,
situation
yeah,
like
I'm
that.
going to do cardio because that's what's comfortable, right? And then I'll never forget, because Ashton and Galen, and then my mom, and then surprisingly Brett, somehow, I don't even remember that, but somehow you guys got Brett to go to the gym. I don't know how. But like,
Yeah, they were all first.
yes, they were like the first ones, Gail and Ashton, but then my mom and Brett, probably because we were in the same neighborhood, and you're like, hey Brett, you can drive with us. But one day Brett was like, why don't you just come and you can like watch us work out? And so I was like, fine. I was massively pregnant at that point. When did you guys start? What month was that?
Oh,
I started
September.
August
Oh,
I
of
came with you
August,
guys.
20
September.
Okay, when were you? though?
2017. So you were 6
Yes.
months pregnant with Rhea.
Yeah,
or-
like I had Rhea in December. Whenever it
Ish.
was that Brett and mom started was when
It was
I
a month
came.
after them.
Okay,
I remember
so,
coming with you to watch.
okay, so
I
September.
think Dad was there too.
probably September.
It was
yeah.
for the open.
No, I like.
Oh,
went-
it was not.
No, I like
Oh.
literally went to one of like just their
Oh,
workout
okay.
classes.
The first time I went was for the open. I
Okay.
watched.
That was
Well, I went to just
October then.
okay.
Yeah, I went to one of their classes. It was just a couple months before having Rhea, so I was really big. And I remember because I had no idea that the owner was, I don't know if they were engaged yet or just dating, but whatever. But
Yeah, I remember.
that like I went to high school with her, and I was like, oh my goodness, hi, like we went to high
Yes,
school together.
such a
I didn't
small
realize
world, you
that.
didn't
Like
even know.
I didn't know. And all the coaches were just so friendly. Like they came over to this whale over on the boxes.
Oh my god.
I'm just kidding. That was big. And I was like, oh my gosh, hey, like I had no idea that you went here. Da, da, da. And they're like, you should come to a class. And I'm like, well, I haven't worked out at all. I'm not gonna start right now. Like you don't understand. But anyway, so I like waited, and still like I got to see everybody else work out. Everybody was like, obviously when you first start CrossFit, you're kind of addicted, and that's all you talk about. But like, so they were all kind of annoying, but also like it was kind of exciting too to like hear everybody's stories about like how awesome it was. I waited until May then of the next year. I think is when we started. And I'll never forget because we like went on a day that was like.
You started before me though.
Did I start before
Yeah.
you? Okay. On my first day, it was literally like overhead squat.
Well, you guys-
Lord.
How deep were you in before Murph happened then?
No, literally.
That
it
was
the
like
next
my
week.
first week.
Yeah, because
was my first
that's when I
week,
had Cooper's.
Yes.
So I missed that Murph.
Honestly, we did Murph like the week after I started.
Yeah.
So it was
That's
like black band full.
Yeah.
But literally, it was just like the first day. The first day, we're doing overhead squat and we're gonna do like snatches, and I'm like, and then it's surprising that I ever went back, especially now knowing
Yes.
myself and like knowing how I feel about CrossFit and the movements in CrossFit. It's amazing I went back after that, but I stuck with it, and so then I went through that whole postpartum and realized I realized the mental aspect of it, I think more than anything else, of just
that
like,
kind of came first.
yes,
Yeah.
it was like, wow, this like makes me feel so great.
Good.
Yeah.
Like I feel like motivated after being here. I feel like I'm ready to, like I would get home from the gym and I'd be like, oh my goodness, okay, Ray, let's play and let's clean the house and let's do this. Like it gave me like a boost of energy
Yeah.
to where I was like motivated to do stuff. And I had never felt that before. And I had come out of a season of just like kind of like very down lowness. And so I was like, this is really cool, like how great I feel. And kind of like Ashley, like I went through 2 pregnancies and postpartums, or 3 postpartums after that. And like literally, I mean, with Darcy, I was the type that like we were driving to the gym and I was like throwing up in the back seat because I had such bad morning sickness. But I'm like, working out makes me feel so good. Like it was so weird. Literally, the only relief that I felt like being pregnant with Darcy was while I was at the
That's
gym.
such a beautiful metaphor.
Yeah. Yeah. Like it was so weird. When I was working out, I felt so good. It was
Yeah.
before, after, the whole day. But like as I was moving my body, it was just so great. And it was just so cool too because like I think our gym literally has so many moms who got pregnant at the exact
Yes,
same
it was
time.
almost like there was a joke going around where
Yes.
the owner was like, something's in the water
Yes,
here.
and I think
Yes.
they
And
still have that sticker on our water
one of the
fountain.
girls
We
made
have
a
a water
label.
fountain. There's
Yeah.
like a label on it that says baby making
Water.
or something like that. Like literally, don't drink the water at our gym
Yeah.
because, and we're due for another baby.
There's a
baby,
wave
so
coming. Is it coming?
It's coming. Be
All right,
prepared.
girls, you
Maybe.
get ready.
Yeah.
Trying.
But literally, like it was so cool. Like you just all the coaches really learned. I think for that first wave of just like okay, like
Here it is.
everybody knows now. Like this is how we scale pregnancy, and
Yeah.
it's not even like a question of whether you can like do CrossFit.
Yeah, so if you're wanting to
workout.
do like CrossFit and you're pregnant, that's okay. Just go for it. Like go ahead and start. Like
Yeah, I was a month in to
Yeah.
doing CrossFit,
Yes.
and so
Or you don't need to wait for anything.
Exactly.
It's definitely like at any point you can.
It was
I guess
just so.
that's
It was just
Yeah.
so good, and even like because let's jump. Davey's pregnancy was not the same
Yeah.
as Darcy's. Like I was not throwing up and then going to the gym. It was different, but like still, there would be days where I'm like, you know what, today I'm gonna just do like little things
Yeah.
and still move, and it was just so cool to realize like the gym is still for you regardless of what season
Yes.
you're in.
Oh, yeah.
Whether like there were days where I would be like chilling with my nan and papa over in like the side where we're doing kind of similar workouts, but that was still fine, and it was still like everything's scalable. And there'd be days where I'd be like with nan and papa just doing the same workouts as them, but at the end of the day it's like I still got up, I moved my body, I felt so much better at the end of the day because of that.
Yes.
And like I remember for sure, well probably both actually, I can remember. But with like my postpartums with Cooper and Blair, obviously you can't work out for 6, sometimes additional weeks, like depending on how you're feeling and stuff. But just because of the community that was at our gym and my friends and the people that like cared about us and supported us and like wanted, I mean, literally congratulated us when we had a child. Like I was at the gym long before I could ever work out. Just getting up to be hanging out, trying to be around people and having like that community. So that's definitely something that.
And I remember like
CrossFit
after
brings.
having Davey, there were times because obviously me and Daryn live in the same neighborhood, so there would be times where
Obviously, nobody knows
does, but
that.
we live in the same neighborhood. So we always drive together, but like there'd be times where it was like, hey, like why don't you just come with me? Like even though you can't work out right now, like let's just still go like hang out together, you know, and just like you need to be around people, you need to be around stuff, and like there's this girl at our gym right now who literally, I don't know how old she is, but she just had 2 hip replacements.
Oh,
And she still comes and
she's on the bike.
she's on the bike and she
step-ups.
just is
Yep.
there, and every single day I'm like, good morning, like I'm so happy to see you, and like it's so cool because honestly it is for everybody.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it is
Honestly.
true. At any
Honestly.
point in your life.
Just go pee.
Okay.
And it's like you guys are distracting me.
I know. I'm like, I just
go what you're talking about. I got
legs, but that's a
I got so insecure just now because there was something happening.
Needs to go pee. What she doesn't know is I'm not cutting this out.
I love it. Anyway.
So tell us about your journey.
Okay, I'm
Daryn,
so
go
glad
for
you
it.
asked me because I was like, I'm gonna have to introduce myself like a real.
Sorry.
Let's talk about me. No. Okay, so my journey, I guess. Let's see how to start this. How Mom so gracefully put it. I did nothing athletic my entire life.
Oh, you tried.
Yeah, I know.
You tried.
Okay, so I tried
Volleyball,
everything.
soccer,
I played soccer at T-ball, you know, when you're little.
Volleyball.
And then when I got, how old was I when I played volleyball? I was probably like 13, 12, 13.
You were that old?
Yes, and I actually really enjoyed volleyball. I felt like I wasn't bad at volleyball. I was in clubs, and I didn't really like the culture of the girls club volleyball. It was very petty and catty, and honestly, not even with the players. It was like the moms. I don't know. The whole thing felt kind of not my personality, so I did it for 1 year, and then I stopped. And it was kind of a bummer because I was like, I did like the feeling of like being involved in a sport and doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just didn't vibe with that. And so I was like, okay, whatever. I entered high school. I was never interested in anything fitness-wise. Something that has changed a lot since I've started CrossFit and just in my older years. I grew up thinking that fitness and exercise was a hobby or something that you're into. I wish I didn't have that, like that pre-made up notion that that's what it was. I wish I had known, because for fact, fitness and exercise is not a hobby. That is something that should be part of everybody's life. And that's not just my opinion, I think it's factual. Because you have a body, and I mean, there are so many things in our world that tears our bodies down that we need to be working to make them strong and build them up. So that was kind of like I was wrong about fitness. I always was like, oh, I'm not into that. I'm not an exercise girl. Kind of took a lot of pride in that in high school. In high school, I was like very much a more, I like art. I like that kind of stuff. I did student government. I was just did anything that was like artistic. That's kind of what my passion was. I didn't realize that you can be artistic and work out. I thought it was like you have to work out and that's your thing. Like even Jordan talked about fitness center with her mile. I got out of running the mile in fitness. I told my teacher, I'm like, I don't think I can do that. I'm not feeling great today. And she was like, okay. So I got out of running the mile. That was part of the grade. Like you had to run 1 mile. It didn't even matter what your time was.
Yeah.
And I just didn't do it. That's like how much I did not like fitness. I was like, wow, this is so funny looking back at
Which
that.
is so funny. I forgot to talk about the whole color guard.
All right. We do need to intercede for a second, Daryn. And I want Jordan to say this because this is the funniest thing that ever happened as far as I'm concerned with you guys. And something we did together in high school.
Hang on, let me boost Jordan up first, real quick, before we start. So Daryn was a senior when I was a freshman. So Daryn had been doing color guard, which is in the band. And if you don't know anything about band life, they are hardcore people. Like, I used to make fun of band kids until Jordan got into the band. I was like, this is like a whole thing.
I mean, especially like the division that we
yes,
in.
oh yeah. Like, our high school is really big, and they were very good. So it was very much like a big situation. Like, it was like the baseball team, or football, baseball, band. That
No,
was
band was like the state champions.
That's
Galen's
They're above everything else.
football won like no games. So I
Yeah.
think it was
Everyone-
baseball, band.
No, it was
But everyone
band and
still
then
loves
baseball.
Okay,
I'm
I-
sorry.
Galen will did not like that comment.
Hang on, let me say though.
Even though I know how much Galen practiced, the band practiced way
Oh,
more.
yeah, the band is
They were so
hardcore.
dedicated.
Yes, yeah.
Early mornings, late
So,
nights,
Jordan-
unbelievable.
Jordan, so my mom's one thing in high school, she goes, you guys have to be involved in a sport or a club. That was her prerequisite. My mom didn't care if I had D's in all my classes, thank God. But she was like, but you have to be part of a club or a sport. And so,
So me and my best friend
Yes.
were walking around on like future freshman night. We're like, oh,
yeah,
this
where they
will
have
be
all the
fun.
booths and everything.
They have all the booths of like all the activities and like clubs that you can
Mhm.
join. And there was like the color guard, and I'll never forget because it was, I'm not supposed to say names, but like Brian was there, and like
Yes.
he was so like
Hyped up on it.
He was so hyped up on the band, and we're like, yes, we should do this.
Yes.
Like we're totally gonna do this. It's gonna be so much fun, and it's gonna be like simple, right?
Yeah, but you know what else was funny about that night? Is that we walked all the way around the whole gym, and you came back, circled back to the beginning, and you go, I don't want to do any of these things, Mom. And I go,
Yeah.
we're not leaving here till you sign up for something.
Put your name down on one of these papers.
Write your name down. So of course I picked the thing that was the
And
most.
then Brian
work
came up, and all those kids
Yes.
came up, and they were like, Jordan, you
Yeah.
gotta do this with us.
Because of course band kids are like
Yeah, they are
the
hardcore.
most
They're like
psyched
Chick-fil-A
kids.
employees.
Yes. They're probably all
Yeah.
managers of Chick-fil-A right now. But anyway, so I got involved with like the color guard. I didn't realize what I was signing myself up for. But kind of like CrossFit, you just like get started and then you get addicted to like the rush of everything, and like you're just hyped after that point. But so I did color guard, which is
Jordan was the captain of the
well, I
color guard.
became color guard captain of color guard my junior year.
Yeah.
And so
Which is a big deal. Good
Yeah.
job.
Thank you. But it is a lot of work. It
Oh.
really, really is. It's a lot of physical activity.
It's way more
I
than
will say.
anybody will ever know, and
Yes.
I'm so proud of you.
I
That is
can
really
bear witness
amazing.
to
Thank you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. Anyway, but so Daryn came my senior year. I was like, hey, it's my senior year. They had this day that was friends and family. I don't remember
Yeah.
what day it was because Galen had done it with me the year before that.
Yeah.
And then you did it one year.
Well, because I was like,
Yes.
well, I'll join color guard and do it with you.
Yes, so they have this like day where you can bring a family or friend
Uh-huh.
and you can go through like everything
Yes.
with you, right? You go through your entire like routine
Like
of
the
what,
morning. It's early.
yes.
And
So
it's really- and I
all
was
of our
so
morning
excited
prep-
because I'm like, oh, my girls are gonna do their last year of color guard together.
yeah, so I was so I was so psyched. Daryn was gonna be there. I was the captain. I was my senior year. She was a freshman. I was like, she's gonna do this with me. She came practice at 6 a.m. She gets there.
Oh my gosh. The whole entire band is on the football field. So this
So-
is even more embarrassing.
So you start with like warm-ups, and so they start at like 20 airplanes. Airplanes was like how we started every single practice, and it was like you put your arms straight out like you're making a T with your body, and you go upwards like you make like little movements up, and then you make little movements down.
Doesn't
in,
seem
and back.
hard at all.
It doesn't seem hard, but you start with 20 and you go down by twos all the way to 0.
Yes.
If you drop your hands or your arms, you have to make a lap around the entire
Football
field. Which, like, I had been in CrossFit for
color
guard for 3 years, so I'm like, this is what we do now. I've got pretty jacked arms. Daryn,
Haven't
she's like,
lifted anything.
the fuck are you doing?
I was
And
so mad.
It was just
Oh
like
my gosh, I
her
still feel
whole world got rocked by this one practice. First of all, you didn't even want to get up and be there
No.
for it. Then you get there and you're like, what are we doing? We were running laps, and like I had to run laps with you because you run
You
with
were,
your
yeah.
person if you have
Lauren's
to.
like, gosh, we're running an awful lot
Yeah,
today.
and so let's just say that was the first and last day of Daryn's.
I remember
career.
being like, absolutely not. That is dumb.
I never
hate
did.
You
that.
didn't even stay for the whole thing.
No,
I think she
left.
ditched out.
Yeah, I left. Well,
She
it was like
left me.
it was like we were on the field, and I only stayed for those airplane things. And we ran, and then they started something else, and I go, I'm not doing that. And I walked off the field, and I sat on the side, and I watched you do it. Because I'm like, there's no way.
The courage that it would take for me to be like, I am leaving.
Oh,
I am
I-
not continuing.
See, that's another thing about me. I don't do things
I
I don't
know.
want to do.
Oh,
It's
but
really
do you-
hard.
Everything inside of me would be like, I'm going to finish this one out.
Do you remember the one morning I woke up late for
Oh,
practice?
that
Yeah.
I
I
will
will
never
never
forget. My
forget.
whole life, I'll never forget.
Yeah, and if
that.
you're late to band practice, you
it
get
says
like,
a lot about Rhea.
Oh,
oh my gosh.
Literally, as I raised Rhea, I'm like, she is just me in
Yes.
a tiny body, and I am
all
like,
the grace.
I just thank my
Yes.
mother every single day because it must have been rough. It must have been rough. But I was late one morning and I woke up too late and I was like, Mom, I can't go, Mom, I can't go. Like, I'm gonna have to run. Everyone's gonna see that I was late. And She's like, you need to get in the car right now. You need to get there. I'm like, I can't do it. It was
You spent so much time crying. Crying, so much
Yes.
crying. I said,
it
let's
was
go.
It was horrible.
Yeah.
I hate being late. I hate
I know.
attention being brought over.
That's so funny because I was always, so when I was in swimming, we had practice every single morning. It was 5:30? Yeah, it was 5:30 to 6:30 in the morning. We had after school practice too.
Yeah.
But me and my friends, my two friends, we would hide out in the locker room in our parkas in the winter, praying that our coach wouldn't come get us and make us get in the
Oh
pool
my
sometimes.
gosh.
See, we'd be so
See, guys,
tired.
I was not the life I was.
Yeah, I was
living.
like, I would remember getting there, it'd be so cold, and we'd have to jump into a pool.
The swim team and the band were literally the hardest
Yes.
workers of the entire
Yeah.
school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I spent, like, literally, I'm not kidding, nobody realizes this, but when you were on, like, club team, you went to practice 5:30 to 7 every morning, and then you went back after school, and you went 4 to 6:30 every night, and then you practiced on Saturdays for 2 hours.
See, so when I was in high school, I was focused on student government because that was the club I chose, which I also chose something hard to be involved in because you had to have
That was hard.
you had to have a certain GPA, and you had to run to get into it. So it's not like you were just invited.
There's also
You
a lot of
had to-
activities.
But
Yeah.
not run physically like run.
Yeah, no, you were running for office. So you had to like actually campaign, which was kind of embarrassing. You have to do it in front of the whole school and you have to get votes. And then, and you have to keep a certain GPA, which granted it was low, but like,
Yeah.
my focus in high school was to have fun and
And pass.
talk to boys. That was my high school. So like I was not involved in fitness at all throughout all my high school.
But
I
when
tried
you-
the color guard thing and then I was like, no, thank you.
But when you got involved in CrossFit,
Mm-hmm.
you were just there the same way. You kind of just came,
Well, let
you
me
did the
tell.
workouts.
Yeah.
Let Daryn tell
Okay.
her story.
I was like, let me tell you about
Well,
this
I'd
story.
like I want you to go back to talking about, like, because
Oh,
you
I'm getting
changed.
there. I'm getting
you
there.
definitely
So-
changed.
So what happened was I did high school, got out of that, excelled socially, and then we graduate, and then when my brother came home from school, we kind of I did the whole I didn't go to college, but I did the freshman 15 where you put on 15 pounds of weight because me and Galen were just having so much fun.
mushrooms.
Oh,
and burgers.
every Friday night, me and Galen would be at Mellow Mushroom, at the bar, just having drinks. We were just having fun, which I don't regret at all. Me and Galen had so much fun together. I did put on a lot of weight, which I was didn't realize I got depressed, but then it was once you realize that happens, you're like, oh man, what happened to me? Because it happened so fast, and you're having so much fun, and then you just kind of start to feel that way a little bit. And I had gotten married, and those beginning years of marriage, me and Carson were just having so much fun. We were eating whatever we wanted, drinking our beers, just having a good time, just celebrating life. And I was like, man, I'm just not happy with how I'm feeling and how my body looks. And so this was at the same time that everyone had started going to CrossFit. And I think you guys were in it for a few months before I even came to try it out. And I remember we all came and worked out. You guys had talked us into it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this so much, because I kind of had gotten an attitude also where I was like, no, I'm not doing this thing that you guys are all doing. Like, this is dumb. You guys won't stop talking about it. But you kind of do that when you're unhappy, unfortunately. Like, you kind of, when you're unhappy with something, you kind of feel negatively about people doing things that they're really happy about. That is an unhealthy mindset to be in. So I was like, okay, well, I'll go try it out. So I remember you guys worked out at 6:30, and I was like, so on top of it, I have to wake up so early because they live very close to our gym, and I live about 25, 30 minutes away. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is such a hassle. That's how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot remember.
That's why the hardest part is
Yeah,
getting to the gym.
yeah, and it still is because I still live 25, 30 minutes away. But the
Most of
hardest, now I've moved most everyone by.
And a few kids.
Yeah, and with kids makes it harder. But so it was one of those things where I was like, oh my gosh, this is just gonna be so much like work. And I don't even remember what the workout was when we got there, but I remember there was so much math involved with your score.
Yeah.
So it must have been like a time one where you mark your time after every round, which something with CrossFit is every workout is scored because they want you to keep track of your progress. So like when you're doing this, you're like keeping track of your workouts. And can you guys stop interrupting me? Sorry. Oh my god. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
I thought it was being really still.
Daryn is trying to tell her
I thought it was so
I know, but like when you're getting up and like bringing notebooks places, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't focus. Okay, so anyways, you have to like score your workouts, and this particular one was like very confusing to score. And it was very hard because I had not worked out in years. And I like went up to the coach and I was like, is this how it is every single time we come here? I remember asking him that, and he goes, well, like he didn't say no. And I was like, oh, I'm not coming back. Like that was ridiculous. You have to do math on top of doing all this. Like that's how I felt, and I was like, no way. And then I came back the next day. And the thing with CrossFit that I love now is that it's all varied movements and varied workouts. So you can go one day, it can be a 25-minute workout. The next day, it can be an 8-minute workout. It's all dependent on what it is. The movements are different every day. It's just, it keeps things interesting, and you get to find what you like to, and it kind of gives you something to anticipate, look forward to. And
they're all really good workouts.
yeah, they're all really good because the more challenging, the better it is for you. But I just remember being like traumatized by that. And then of course it's weird. You keep coming back because I think with CrossFit, the community aspect of it, which I cannot speak to any other gyms because I have only ever done CrossFit. I had an LA Fitness membership, but I rode the elliptical and watched friends the entire time. That's all I did.
I get that.
So I didn't talk to anybody. Yeah, you understand. So CrossFit is different because you make friends the first day if you're in the correct gym. I would say that if you're looking for a CrossFit gym, if you're in the area, ours is great. If you're not, ours is the best gym.
Yes.
in
North Phoenix.
Yeah, in North Phoenix. So but anywhere else, if you don't feel welcomed or appreciated or loved or seen, then try a different gym until you find the one, because that I think is one of the most beautiful things about CrossFit is the community aspect of it, because without that I would not have continued, because that was not my personality. And still it's funny because I have changed a lot to where my whole perspective on fitness has changed to where before I thought it was a hobby, like I kind of referenced. Now I'm like, this is a part of my life regardless of how I feel, if I'm pregnant, whatever season I'm in. I'm like, this is something that you just do because I love myself and I care for my quality of life. So that's why I do it. And so that has been probably the most valuable lesson that I've learned in CrossFit. And I've also learned too, because as a woman who has been pregnant and worked out, which I agree with these girls when they were talking about being pregnant and working out. I worked out my entire pregnancy, and it was so helpful. I think with my labor and delivery, just the entire pregnancy, because so much is shifting in your body that when you're moving still, it really does alleviate a lot of the things that can come with pregnancy.
Well, I think also sorry to interject,
No, you're fine.
but you know why the ice,
Mm-hmm.
what is it called,
The ice, like the cold plunges?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like cold plunge. So like
Cold
the
plunge.
reason that is, it's like your mind is supposed to like get you to a place of like overcoming what you're in at the
Yeah.
moment. And I think that like CrossFit workouts kind of like put you into a mindset of like, I'm overcoming like difficulty right
Yes.
now. I'm overcoming like pain kind of right now, which is the same as like when you're in labor and all of that is like, you put yourself into a different mindset of like, okay, I can do something very difficult for a short amount of time. And so
Yes.
it's kind of like why I think like cold plunges work. And like,
Yes.
it's the same thing as like relating like labor and delivery to
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
like hard work.
Oh,
You
for
put
sure.
your mind into a different place.
Sometimes, like, if it is a really hard workout, I'm like, I gave birth to a baby.
Mhm.
You know, I can do this because this is really hard, but I know I can do it.
That's how I am
And
on
then-
farmers carries, man. I want to carry the heaviest weight, and I'm like, I'm carrying
Yeah.
my babies.
Yeah,
That
I
is
can
so
do this.
funny. I love farmers
Yeah.
carry
Yeah.
stuff.
But you know, okay, so the really good thing, I'll end that's just my journey, but something about CrossFit that I think is really awesome is that it is meant to be like functional fitness. So everything in CrossFit is designed to help you in your everyday life and as you age. I think that is a difference between like going to a regular gym and having CrossFit. And CrossFit is also, you technically have personal trainers with you for every class because it is
Highly skilled.
Yes,
too.
CrossFit
Like,
is more expensive than maybe going to like a Planet Fitness or something, but you get what you pay for 100%. And like at our
It's like having
gym,
a personal
oh,
coach for
100%.
sure.
And like at our gym, the coaches get to know you and your fitness level. So like once you're there for a while, they know exactly what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, and they can guide you in that. And that feels really good. It's very special. And it's just it also like something with CrossFit that I love is it's the one thing in my life, well, not the one thing, but it is one thing in my life where I'm like, this is so for me, and it makes me feel really confident. I think that you should be confident in your life, especially like women and men, but like since we're primarily speaking to women, like if you are not confident right now, do more things for yourself because that is so important. And when you're in a gym, it doesn't matter what you look like, it matters what your body can do. And when you are working out and working really hard, that's all that matters because you're going to feel proud of yourself regardless of where you are. If it's day 1 or year 6, you're going to feel proud of yourself. I remember I was so overweight when I first started, but that first week, and then Jordan, speaking of us doing Murph the next week, which is a hero workout in CrossFit, I felt so proud of myself. Which looking back, I'm like, that was so hard and I did not do well at all. And there's like video footage of me and like I'm slightly embarrassed because I'm like, oh my gosh, Daryn, like what the heck? But I'm like, but I remember feeling so proud of myself because I was part of something and doing something for myself that was like bettering me. So it doesn't matter what you look like. It matters that you're doing something for yourself and it will make such a difference. And then you'll find yourself on year 6 and you'll be doing more things than you ever thought possible and you're just gonna be in a so much better space and do it with people that you love to be around because it makes all the difference.
I would just say like piggybacking off of that, I think that like we do live in a time where it is very easy through a lot of different means to have a lot of self-doubt. But if you're trying to overcome self-doubt, you're trying to build confidence, a great place to do that is in a gym setting. Specifically CrossFit, where you have an environment of people who are coming alongside you and like rooting you on in your fitness. I think that for me, like personally, a lot of where I work out, like self-doubt is in the gym because I will force myself to do something that's uncomfortable for me in a workout. So it's uncomfortable for me to add weight into a workout, or it's uncomfortable for me to try this movement or to do this, but we grow in uncomfortable situations. And so if you want to grow in life, you need to place yourself in situations that make you uncomfortable. And a great place to do that is a gym, because if you fail, it doesn't really matter. Like, you failed and you can try again the next time that you go. And so much of like where I built confidence is failing at things a lot, but then also finally succeeding at that same thing and proving to myself that I am capable. It's just time, commitment, and effort that matters. And that translates into like every single area of my life, whether it's motherhood or marriage or whatever it may be, that all plays out in my life. So I've seen a lot of that, and I like what you said about how it matters like what your body can do. I'll speak for, I don't know about like your generation, but I will say for like Jordan, Daryn, myself, our generation, there was so much emphasis put on this idea of like skinny is beautiful versus like strong and healthy is beautiful. And so like I'll never forget, and my attitude has shifted so much since then. I think a lot of that is to do with our gym, like our community, my husband. But like in college, it was very like popular. When I was a freshman in the dorms, you would like put this whiteboard on your dorm room door, and like people would leave like cute, like nice comments and stuff. But I'll never forget, like one time it hurt my feelings so bad. Somebody wrote on my dorm room door like thunder thighs, and I was like so upset about that.
Yeah, that is...
But now I'm like,
yeah.
I don't even care because
You're freaking strong.
I move really
If I had
good weight
some
in the
thunder thighs,
gym.
I'd be happy right now.
No, but it is funny because when you're like, when someone says something like that, like if you don't have confidence or like self-esteem, it can be really easy to look at that as a negative comment. But then like you get married, and my husband is so complimentary of me, like specifically even
Your
just like my legs. Yeah, whatever. But then being in a gym, our gym, no one will ever make a comment about what you look like unless it's positive. Everyone is focused on like, wow, you just put up a PR, or you just did this, or you just did that. And it's the focus on the right things.
Yes.
So I would say just like invest in your health. Daryn talked about like it is expensive, but look at it as an investment in your health.
Yeah.
Because if you're not,
it almost isn't expensive when you realize what it gives you.
if you're not paying for your gym, I promise you, somewhere down the road, you're gonna be paying
You pay
for
medicine, surgeries,
Yeah.
things like
so
that. Yeah.
I don't know.
So let me just talk about, you did bring up a generation thing, and I have to tell you, I'm going to
I'm so sorry. Too many margaritas.
Come on, keep going.
So for the women my age, so I'm 57.
I like how you looked at
Yeah, I
me.
have to
I'm like,
think about that for a second.
girlfriend.
We had this
Okay,
talk.
we had this talk on the way here about
Oh,
how old
great.
you were actually. So we
You
were
know.
like, mom's acting old.
66.
I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I'm
I
just
get it,
kidding.
though.
You were
No,
born
we
in
don't.
66.
Okay, so when you become my age, there are certain things that are going to start to happen. Sometimes you get those heavy legs, you get varicose veins, spider veins, you get the incontinence, all those sort of things that are so much fun. We love talking about them, but we really don't, and we always don't want to even draw attention to it. But they're there,
But it happens
and I
to
know you
people.
all have
Yeah.
it, and I know, especially after childbirth. When I started working out, I had spider veins that were so bad that my legs were purple. And the only thing the doctors told me to do was to put on compression socks. And of course, I'm never going to do that here in Arizona, so I just dealt with it. And then it brings heavy legs and then that pain. A lot of times when I talk to people, especially in where I work, I'll invite them to come work out with me, and they're like, oh, I can't because I got back pain, or I got leg pain, or I've got, and I'm like, honey, it's going to help all that too. I mean, it makes it stronger. So 6 years in, and I can tell you my incontinence is virtually almost completely gone. I can jump rope,
Yeah.
and
That's
that's pretty good. I don't need no pads.
You
when
can
I'm
do
jumping.
double
Yeah.
unders.
Now, if I do double unders, that's pretty heavy jumping. So
Which
sometimes
it's funny, like, I remember when this was happening, we were like, oh my gosh, we can't tell the coaches we're gonna pee when we do this.
They all know.
They're used to it.
Honestly,
literally,
can I tell my
it's-
most embarrassing story at the gym?
Yes.
Just to make you feel better about your incontinence.
Yes.
There was a time after having Darcy, like I had like nursing pads in my bra.
Oh my god.
And I was doing honestly, I felt like I was never gonna be able to go back to the gym after this. But I was doing double unders, and one of my like nursing pads flew out of my bra. Because I was a dummy and didn't use the sticky part and like stick it in there. And then like a girl was behind me, and I was like, girl, I just lost my boob pad. Like,
Didn't she wasn't she like, Jordan, is that yours?
Yeah.
Way to bring it up.
But she was very discreet.
Mortifying. She was so discreet, but I knew our coach was walking around the entire time and saw everything happen.
He was probably like, there goes Jordan's boob pad. There it goes again. It's fine.
No one
it
really
really
helps.
helps to
So,
be
like, remember, Daryn will remember this. It wasn't that long ago. I cried in a workout because I didn't go pee before.
Yeah, before jumping.
And we had double unders,
Yes.
and it happened.
Yeah,
and
it happened to so many
And my
girls,
coach
though.
came up to me. The coach came up to me because I was having a really hard time, like trying to get mentally. I was mentally like, you just got to get through this workout. She's like, is everything okay? And I'm like, no, I'm peeing. I can't help it, and I need to just be done. And she's like, it's fine.
It's fine.
I finished though. I did finish.
Yeah.
I mean,
It honestly, I'd rather you pee your pants and be at the gym than not.
Honestly, yeah, and
No one cares. Like, we're telling these stories, and like, it is honestly not a big
no,
deal.
don't make the. Don't be
So,
afraid of that. I just forgot to go pee before.
So,
workout.
but I do want to emphasize there's a difference between single unders. So when and double unders, all right? When you're doing double unders, you do bounce a little higher and a little harder, and that is
Well,
definitely
not if
something
you're doing
that's
it right.
No, you still do.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But for
No.
single unders, I know that that's a simple jump rope thing that literally even doing those, I was
Yeah.
having that problem. And then after being in the gym for this long, I don't have that problem
Yeah.
anymore. So those muscles have gotten much stronger. My varicose veins, getting back to that, has gone just because my leg muscles have gotten so much stronger that they're being able to hold in those veins. And my legs completely feel different. I don't have any of those aches and
you
pains.
can even tell the way your legs look too.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
very different. So don't be afraid if you are older and you feel like, oh, I could never do that because I got shoulder issues, or I can't do that because I have whatever your
I
issue
must say
is.
that, like, if you're saying I could never do that, what makes you different from any other
Oh
person?
yeah, because you're going to come into the gym and
And
you're
don't
going
be
to say,
singling yourself out like that.
Coach, I can't do it because my shoulders.
Yeah.
And he'll say, you know what, let's do something different.
Yeah,
We're
we've
gonna
got
do
a
this, we're
different
gonna do that.
movement for you. Yeah, whatever.
But when I came into the gym, just to, you know the monkey bars, just
the
you know,
monkey,
or
like
we
at a
call them
park.
bar at a park,
At
yes.
a park, like monkey
But
bars.
because most people see monkey bars, then
There's
they
no
do
monkey
gym bars.
at
But
the gym.
anyway, you try to hold on to those and
Yeah.
lift your feet off the ground, and you will be shocked how hard that is to do.
I
the
remember
older
my
you get.
first. I remember this was so embarrassing to me. I remember when I first went to the gym, my first day. There was a bar involved,
Mhm.
and I couldn't hold on to the bar.
No.
Like, my hands would not grip the bar, and I was like, "What in the
Yeah.
world?" Like, I was really embarrassed because when you look at something like that, you're like, "Oh yeah, I can hold on to that."
In your mind, it
But
looks
then
really easy.
you do it after being like having a sedentary. That's the word.
Sedentary.
Sedentary lifestyle, and you're like, wow, I can't hang on the bars. Now I can do pull-ups, I can do toes to bar,
Yep.
I'm working on bar muscle-ups. Those are all things that were so far out of reach 6
Right.
years ago, you know what I mean? But it's that strengthening. You
Right.
just do build the strength and confidence in those things. So you shouldn't be embarrassed about
Right.
starting because that
No.
is a hard thing
And
to
this
overcome.
last year was my first year of getting pull-ups, so it's not easy. I always looked at people doing pull-ups and thinking, oh, that looks so easy, I'm gonna do that. And then, like I said, you hang from that bar and you're like, holy crap, I can't even hang from this bar,
Yeah.
let alone pull myself up. So it is a time over time. It takes process.
But that's
it
why
takes
it's a lifestyle.
and-
It is not
because
something
it took
that
me
you
6
need
years
to, yeah.
to be able to do a pull-up.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, certainly if I would have tried harder and worked on it more, I could have done it a little faster. But when
well,
you
that's
go
where it comes to
gyms-
like your goals. So like
Right.
there are athletes, like there are CrossFit athletes who give everything into this sport and will make huge progress, do all these things. And there are people who are in it for a lifestyle where they're like, you know, I'll get there. I'm gonna just work slowly at this. Whatever your speed is, it's okay. Like it
Yeah.
totally doesn't matter.
Determine your, like, I think it's always important. Gail and I had this conversation, I think I was like postpartum with Cooper, but it was about like, what is your why behind what you're doing and making that a focus, because obviously it can be easy to like compare yourself to others and like the season that they're in.
Yeah.
But for me, like my why always comes back to like my family. I want to be the best version of myself for my family, physically, mentally. Being at the gym, like we haven't really totally touched on this, Jordan did a little bit, but more than even just like the physical aspect of CrossFit or of exercising and working out, for me is the mental aspect. Like it really provides me with such a clear mind where I'm able to function at my best for my kids, for my husband, when I am making exercise like a regular part of my day and my life, versus when we just know, like I can tell you when I'm not in a routine of working out, which it's been a long time since that's happened, but I can tell a difference in how my mental state is, like how I'm reacting to situations, just how I behave, everything. And so exercise really is like a great way to
Well, and like
bring
how
some
beautiful,
happiness to your life.
And like how beautiful is it like for me? Because like my why too, like that's such a great thing to have in mind. But I'm like, it's so cool that like my son gets to watch me have a routine that is doing something like for myself like this, and where it's making me stronger. Because ultimately, like I'm like, my son, if this sounds cruel, he doesn't have a choice. He's working out his whole life because it is a lifestyle. That is something where like you are doing this.
We're
because
designed
it's
for
good
it.
you. This, God designed our bodies to work a certain way and to function a certain way. It is our responsibility to take care of that, and that is working out is one of those ways. And I'm like, I take great pride in the days where I bring Chip to the gym with me. I'm like, you know what, this is so cool because it is more work to bring Chip to the gym, but I'm like, he gets to watch this and he sees it, and then at home he does things. that
all
he
of our
sees
kids.
us. Yes, they
all of our kids.
emulate
I
us.
can attest to this. I've seen it in every single kid besides Davy so far, which we will see it when Davy's able to do these things.
Yes.
But all of our kids are like, watch me do a pull-up, watch me run, watch me do a wall walk, watch me do a push-up. They see it and emulate it. It just is it attests to the fact that it matters more of what you're doing than what you're saying. And so you can say all you want that being healthy is important. If you want your kids to be healthy, you have to be healthy yourself. And it is not a selfish thing. There are so many moms out there who think, how could I possibly take an hour out of my day away from my kids to work out? I'm like, it is not a selfish thing. You're actually providing your kids with the best version of yourself and showing them what health looks like by being that.
You're setting them up.
Right.
You're
for
setting an
success.
example.
So you guys are starting very, very young. You've got your kids starting young. You guys are young. Everybody is very healthy. But as you get older, and you all know, we start seeing, as we age, health problems coming on with people. And I see it all the time, and this is going to keep you healthy. It's going to keep you strong
Well, and
into
it
your
keeps
older
you in
years.
that mindset of growth
Working out,
and
lifting
health.
heavy
Yeah.
weights makes your bones stronger.
And your mind.
Absolutely. Being able to get down and do burpees and get back up, it's going to make you stronger. You're going to be 60, 70, 80 years old, and you're going to be able to get up off the ground. You're going to be able to still carry your groceries in.
Yeah.
All these things that you don't think about when you're young, because you guys are just, right now, you're doing so good, and you're just loving lifting, doing PRs and doing all this stuff, and raising your kids, and you're busy doing that. You haven't even hit that next generation of where you start to see, I mean, you know it. You get to a certain age and everyone sits around and talking about, oh, what's this aches and this, and we're not going to the doctor
Well,
for
and
this.
you know what's
and we're
really
gonna talk about
a cool testimony? Our Nan, so my mom's mom, she's 79. We discussed that. She's 79. So she does CrossFit with us, and she comes like 4 or 5 days a week. And she went to her primary care doctor recently.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
And he was like, okay, you can, just for like a checkup or whatever, he's like, you can sit up on the table. And she climbed up on the table, and he like turned around and he told her, you don't know how impressive that is. Most people cannot get up there by themselves. And
At
I'm
her
like,
age.
at her age. And I was like, that's, like, she was very proud of that. I'm like, you should be, because you work hard. But that
But
is
then she
just-
proceeded to invite him to CrossFit.
Did she?
Yeah.
Of course. Of course. But like that's a really cool thing to see. Like it makes me proud too as like a granddaughter, because when you love your family, you want them to be well and you want them to take care of themselves and have pride. And I'm really proud of our whole family, because that's a huge thing. Like we do things together because we love each other, we love to be around people, but we also have this same shared like
interests and desires to be the best version of ourselves for each other also.
Yeah. I think there's 12 of our family members that all work out together at the gym.
That
Sometimes
sounds
we
right. I
kind of
haven't
phase
done
in
the
and out,
math, but that sounds
yeah.
right.
Yeah, so
But then it's cool because
I
our
can at
gym
least
has
count
even
10
our
easily.
gym has acquired so many other families that have like a ton of people that are coming from moms to daughters, like everyone in between.
And like, I just want to like emphasize, because I know we have probably done somewhat of a good job, but like, it doesn't matter where your fitness level is. Like, I know CrossFit can be very intimidating,
Yeah.
and I was extremely intimidated. And I think it took a really long time. And even coming back after like taking 6 weeks off each time with postpartum, like I get intimidated to come back, so I understand it completely.
Yeah.
Once you're out of it, it just is kind of scary to go back. But the coaches at CrossFit gyms like are just equipped with like how to scale you,
Yeah.
how to do everything. Their passion is to get you in there and to just get you moving your body. And so, like we said, we brought up a lot of like older people there, but even just like us at different levels and different ages and stuff. But you just don't be intimidated to go or to get started. Like, I know it can be scary, but just like make that jump to go do it, because honestly, when we talk about pull-ups, you are not expected to go in and do a pull-up.
No.
It took me like over a year to like get pull-ups down, and I love pull-ups like that. I love body weight stuff, and still to this day, I've been doing it for 5 years. I am not a heavy lifter. I'm just not, and that's okay.
Yeah, everyone
Like,
has different
everybody
strengths.
has different strengths. I might be able to run fast, but like I will not be the person like putting up a bunch of weight. Where there's people that come in who are way newer than me and are putting up a bunch of weight. You will find what you enjoy doing, what you love doing, and you're going to excel in that area. You'll know where to scale. You'll know where to like do more weight or whatever it is that you need to do. But don't be intimidated, because if you can't jump rope, that's okay.
Yeah.
You'll sit there and you'll do jumping jacks, like, and that's not a big deal. And nobody in the class is going
no
to
one's
be,
looking at you and no one cares.
No one's going
Nobody
to be
cares.
looking at
If
you.
you're in a
Nobody cares.
CrossFit gym, everyone is just impressed that
We're
you're in
all
a
just
CrossFit.
surviving.
Yeah.
We are so excited that you're just there. Like, it took Brett, like I said, Brett started at CrossFit before me, but then he quit, and he finally just started back, and he's just at the beginning stages again. And there is nothing that like just makes me happier than just like seeing him show up every single day. I could care less what weight he uses, what he's able to do, how much running he does, any of that. It doesn't even matter to me.
If you're married, get together. Let's do this, you guys. Together, your husband and wife team
It's
is
just
amazing.
the best thing.
You cheer each other on, you go home, you talk about it. It's going to change the way you start thinking of life and the way you start eating and just your goals in life, and it's just going to change everything. And you both are just brand new, and it's going to be really fun.
There's nobody that's catty at a gym either. Kind of like Jordan said,
If
like,
you're at a caddy gym, find a different one.
yeah, everyone will be genuinely excited for you whenever you accomplish a goal, or you surprise yourself and do something you didn't even think you could possibly do. Like, that's part of the cool thing about CrossFit is I'm always genuinely excited when my friends are able to do something they've been working towards, or they surprise themselves. It's just nice to see, like, you're happy for people.
Yeah.
You genuinely are happy for people.
Our
in
gym
their
is
success.
definitely like a home away from home. It feels like all of our coaches. I genuinely love everybody at our gym. We have like such a great support system, and our coaches all care for like all the members so much. It's very evident in everything they do.
No, we haven't touched on this, but if you are overweight, most gyms have nutrition programs.
Yeah.
And there's nothing better than starting a workout regimen and getting on their nutrition programs. We all have seen it. It is amazing, the transformations of people that have come into the gym and said, you know what, first of all, they usually don't get right on the nutrition. Usually they want to just get used to doing the gym. But then they get comfortable and they get excited, which you're always going to get excited when you're working out. And then all of a sudden they're like, yeah, let's try this nutrition program.
It's a great jump start.
Amazing results to start eating properly. And not only that, but when you are on these programs, you are not left by yourself. They are checking up on you. They are weighing you in. It's exciting. It's something everyone celebrates. And then you start losing that weight, and people start noticing, and then it's just even more like you're on fire. It's
Yeah.
it's just life-changing. Absolutely. It's the most, how do you say that? It's the most exciting life change you'll ever have.
Well, because
Really.
it affects everything
It
in your
It
life.
affects
Because
your mood.
you live in your body, so when you're happy with your body, it affects everything. It just kind of like spreads
It branches
into
out to everything,
yeah.
and you're happier.
And honestly, like nutrition is like a whole. Like next week we should talk about nutrition because I think it's just a good segue into like.
and we all are different how we do it. So
Yeah.
it's not one
I think
plan
that'd be
fits all.
good.
Everybody here looks at it a little differently, and
Yeah.
we do our own thing.
Similar but different.
I mean, they're the same,
Similar
yes.
but different.
Yeah, but we all do our own thing. But
Yeah.
it's great. It's we're not here to condemn or say you shouldn't
No,
do this.
I
or
think
shouldn't
there's
do that.
some really
I mean,
great
there's
principles
some-
nutrition
yeah.
wise. I mean, we live in a country that teaches one thing, and then
Well, I think
You know.
even just because like starting at bare minimum, like a lot of people don't even understand like what a nutrition label is, or
Yeah.
even like ingredients in food. And so even just getting like becoming mindful of that, like
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that
because when you start working out, you want to feed your muscles good
Yeah.
food and
it
repair.
doesn't start at like
like-
counting macros though.
No,
It starts
no,
at like
no, no.
looking
I
at
still
like
never do that.
Ingredient.
what's
Yeah.
in your
Daryn
food.
will never do that.
I don't count anything.
I don't
count
either,
only
so
my
don't
reps,
worry.
So it's fine. No, but we
But,
should talk about that.
Yeah, there is something.
Sometimes I count.
There's a way, like let's get down to like the beginning stages, and then if you want to dive further into it, there's
Yeah.
ways to do that. So
Yeah, we'll talk about nutrition next week. Let's
Yeah.
just say we're gonna do that.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a really good like segue.
For sure.
into
But I want
that.
to invite anyone that's older that feels super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Really. If you feel so uncomfortable, you live in the Phoenix area, North Phoenix area, message us, message me.
Yeah.
I want to be there to
Support you.
support
We'll
you
show
on
up
that
to your
first day.
first class.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
And you will not be embarrassed.
Oh,
I
if
promise.
anyone listening who lives in our area who wants to try CrossFit, we will all come to
Yes.
class with you.
especially,
That will be.
I will say, like, I just am always like about the moms, but I encourage, like, if you're a mom, you need to find community somewhere.
Absolutely.
So, join our gym. You'll find really good community and a great like workout environment, and we'll be there for you. So,
Yes. You need
Yes.
to be surrounding yourself with people who are uplifting you. And I feel very blessed because God has like totally put our gym in our life for a reason.
Mhm.
Everyone at our gym is just, they're all so sweet. And it is
Mhm.
almost crazy because you're like, how can this many great people be in one place? But it is true. Like I think we all feel very, very blessed. Our coaches are amazing, incredible people. We love all of them, and they're part of our lives, like in the gym and out. We
Yes.
truly do care for everybody in our gym. So I think that's like a huge part. And like this is, I know it's like it's fitness, but like I said, like this is life. This is
So
part of
this
your
is
life.
really
so
cute.
it should be big.
But
Nice.
I notice, you can't help but notice, there's a lot of young moms at our gym. There's some members that don't even have kids, and they'll come early or stay late just to watch some of
yes.
the kids while the other moms work out. And that always just makes my heart feel so good. I'm like,
it's
oh,
so sweet.
that's so
Yeah.
sweet
There is
that
so
they
many-
want to
Notice
do
things
that.
about your kids that like, and it is
Yeah.
crazy. It honestly, it makes me want to be better about that because so much we can be so like self-absorbed. But when you're in that setting, you truly do start to care for so many people and their families. Like there are so many great people and families at our gym where I will be like in the middle of the week and I'll be like, oh, I wonder how her interview went. You know, like just somebody that you work out with and you're like, oh, I should ask her. Or like things like that and you're like, oh, I hope like that they're, you know, this and that. And it's just like, that's such a cool thing because you know people are probably doing that about you too.
Yes.
We cut Chip's hair and everyone noticed. And I'm like, that's such a silly thing. But like, that's so sweet. Like,
Yeah.
you're like, oh my gosh, he looks so big. It's like, surround yourself with people who are going to love you
Yeah.
and just be there.
Now,
and
if you
support
happen
you.
to be at a CrossFit gym and everything we've just described does not fit what your gym is like, I want to encourage you to be that person.
Yeah.
Be
That's
that
true.
person.
Change the culture.
Change the culture of your gym. Because that is true. I have talked to many people at different gyms and we'll explain what it's like at our gym and they're like, oh, ours isn't anything like that. And I'll be like, but you can make it that way. Start saying hi to everybody and welcoming everybody, and you be that vessel that makes somebody feel amazing
Yeah.
that day, and it literally spreads like wildfire, because you be nice to somebody and they're going to be
Yes.
excited to be nice, and before you know it, you started a culture in your gym.
Yes.
So I just want to make sure that you do, because you can't control those things sometimes where you have to
And
go
our
into a
coaches,
gym.
like our coaches call us out. If there's new people at our gym and you don't say hi to them or introduce yourself, they will say, they're like, you guys need to be introducing yourself, which sounds elementary, but it's like, yeah, you gotta be introducing yourself. Be nice, because that's the culture we
excited.
have created.
Be
and
excited, make
yeah.
friends. You start the culture in your gym, and honestly,
Be the
you will be
change you want to
blessed.
see in the
That's
world.
right.
In your gym and just in life.
Yeah,
Just
and
treat
life.
everybody like you would love to be treated.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true.
Agree with that.
What would Jesus do? He would love first.
Yep.
Yeah. I love it. Okay, thank you guys so much
Thank-
for tuning in to episode 5. Next week we'll talk about nutrition 6. Yes, episode 6. I may or may not be here, but we'll make it
Oh,
here.
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll
You
figure
gotta
it out.
be here.
You can't be here without me.
No.
All right, guys.
As always, send us your questions, and we would love to be able to answer
Yes.
those for you.
Yep.
If you have any
Slide into
future
the DMs.
things that you'd like us to talk about,
Yeah.
send
We
us
would love to
those.
hear it.
We'd love to hear
All right,
from you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so
Thanks.
much. We love you.
Bye. Like and
Bye.
subscribe.
Like and subscribe.